This is a post that proves exactly what I'm talking about. Take a look at this. This has 2,000 likes, 33,000 views. This is something that I just found after typing in Candace Owens' name. And it's very clear that the entire time globalists could easily just replace for Jews, and they'd just be sitting there at a very common neo-Nazi talking point. That's just what it is. That's just who these people are. Hey guys, have you ever seen this Ben Shapiro clip?
And then you combine that with the cancel culture and you come up with something truly ugly. So as we'll see, again, I'm just foreshadowing because you need to know where I'm going here. Okay, the fact is that the cancel culture exists. It is extraordinarily ugly. It's particularly ugly for people on the left, actually, because if you're on the right, like I know conservatives are not interested in canceling other conservatives and they're not going to go along with this.
I would say that statement isn't very true based on what I've seen, but it seems like it's more true than I even expected, because someone just got canceled. Who is it? It's Candace. Candace Owens herself. Jeremy Boring tweeted out today, the Daily Wire and Candace Owens have ended their relationship after multiple years of Candace Owens being the only one of the only women featured and like one of the largest personalities at the Daily Wire over her stay. Candace is out. She is gone. She is done. They cut ties with her. And a lot of people one of the big things that I think of is, well, for like, firstly, that's hilarious. That's very funny that they kicked her out. But also, whether it was like her leaving or a mutual agreement or just them firing her, I believe that she was just fired. Okay, that they just fired her. They were done with her. They didn't want, this was something that was going on and being talked about privately for a while, and only now have they finally decided to fire her. And one of the reasons why I personally believe that they fired her was because this was her last segment that she had on the Daily Wire.
Because you are being smeared, you know? I mean, I'm not going to go away. I'm going to use my God-given voice to talk about the things that are important for me. And I'm just asking to be left alone, or at least just report the truth. Ladies and gentlemen, unfortunately, that is all the time that we have for today. But don't worry, because we will see you tomorrow for a brand new episode.
We will see you tomorrow for a brand new episode. It seems like that wasn't true. Seems like she was absolutely expecting to have another episode tomorrow, but the boys at the Daily Wire, the movers and shakers, decided otherwise. Candace will be filing for unemployment as a fun thought. Yeah, that is pretty hilarious. I'm going to be honest. It's the same way. It's the same thing that we saw from Tucker Carlson, where he was like, see you all next Sunday. Hey, when there was not next Sunday. There was no next Sunday. So no, yeah, she was fired. Let's just be honest with ourselves. There was probably some talk behind the scenes about what the type of stuff that she was saying and doing to like jog your memory on some of this stuff that some of you might have forgotten. Ever since Israel began its siege on Gaza, people like Candace Owens have been very much outspoken about how she disapproves of Israel's handling of the war, how many people they're killing, what they're bombing. She specifically is incredibly upset with how many ancient Christian holy places and buildings have been destroyed. One of the oldest churches in the world was destroyed. Israel on Christmas bombed Bethlehem. Okay, these are all things that she's verbally had a lot of issues that she's verbally spoken up about constantly, just about ever since the war happened. And it bubbled over a little while ago when she had a public altercation with Ben Shapiro on Twitter. Actually, a little while ago. The feud began last November when Candace Owens tweeted, "No government anywhere has the right to commit genocide." While she did not specifically mention the state of Israel, her remarks were widely condemned by her fellow conservative media figures. Soon after, Ben Shapiro publicly called Owens' behavior disgraceful and incited her faux sophistication on the Israel-Hamas conflict. Days later, their feud became even more personal. Owens posted on Twitter a series of Bible verses suggesting that you cannot serve both God and money. That pointed remark was viewed by many as a not so subtle use of the anti-Semitic dual loyalty trope against Ben Shapiro. So yeah, she like after feuding and after talking about Israel, she then posted, hey, listen guys, you can't serve both God and money. It's only one or the other. And then they were like, hey, cool it with the anti-Semitic remarks. Very possibly could be anti-Semitic. Do I know specifically? No. She's been one of the people, she's like the Crowder, where she's really outspoken about all these conservative grifters, and the conservative movement online is filled with people who don't actually believe what they're saying, and they don't care about the American people, and they don't love God the way that they should. And they're down there just collecting a check without actually worrying about all those type of stuff, okay? It's just really bad timing, but is this like an anti-Semitic trope? Maybe. It's possible. I mean, for some of you all who don't remember, she was very much hanging out with Kanye West when Kanye West was in his super anti-Semitic arc. You all remember the Alex Jones interview where he was like, I love Nazis, all this type of stuff. Yeah, when he was in his Adolf Hitler
this meme is very real
moment. She defended him throughout the entire thing. Ben Shapiro specifically came out and how with a very tepid statement about how he didn't like the idea of her being so buddy with Kanye West during all of that, and he thought a lot of the stuff that Kanye West was saying was super anti-Semitic. In some ways I agree with Ben on that, and that's something that she just personally didn't care about. I also thought that what she was doing back then was also not only buddying up with this guy who believes very terrible things that she also personally believes, but on top of that, she was buddying up with Kanye West specifically because her husband owns Parler, that conservative dating chat Twitter like app where they can say slurs at each other without getting banned, right? But they can't post pictures of big booby and big booty women, or else they get banned. It's really weird stuff going on over there. With that being said, she was trying to kind of groom Kanye into buying Parler because he was like a free speech hero. And so she really wanted that to happen. So her husband was going to get a really big check. Unfortunately for them, that deal fell out, and soon after, her kind of like open talks and relationship with Kanye West also fell out as well. And they were doing the clandestine shit together. Okay, really curious stuff going on there. With all of that being said, Ben Shapiro really didn't like that. Okay, he responded, Candace, if you feel that taking away money from the Daily Wire somehow comes between you and God, by all means quit. By all means quit. Just saying that, probably insinuating, if we're going to be honest here, that she doesn't like Jewish people, or that the Daily Wire is run by Jews who serve money and not God, and that's why she like you can't serve God and money or whatever. And he's like, oh, you should fuck off then. You should fuck off then. Good friend of the stream, Secular Talk, Kyle Klinsky. No criticism of Israel is allowed in the Daily Wire free speech zone. That's true. The free speech zone should not have that free speech. It should not have that speech. It's bad speech. Okay. Kyle's reply, yeah, listen, free speech zone, except if you criticize Israel, then we got some real problems, okay, buddy? But Candace wasn't even done then. She hopped onto Tucker Carlson. She hopped onto Tucker Carlson, well-known, very not anti-Semitic man, just so you know. She went on to have a friendly interview with him on Twitter, where she lamented Shapiro's ad hominem attacks and said that she would not respond to him on a level of intellect because there's nothing that he has expressed that he fundamentally disagrees with in terms of what I said. Carlson agreed, taking issue with how Shapiro had skipped past saying, I don't think she's correct, or maybe she doesn't know what she's talking about, when straight for labeling her absolutely disgraceful, right? So, but things have gotten worse recently. This was back in November, and we covered a bit of this, and you can see that back there. I don't think we covered all of the Tucker Carlson stuff there. Either way, it was incredibly hilarious. That being said, that wasn't enough to have them want to, split ties with them. What did, maybe, was this week. This week, things started to get way worse. On her show and on her Twitter account, she was actually beefing with a rabbi earlier. This guy, Rabbi Shmuley. Hello, Shmuley. Very cool. And there were some problems there, okay? Her rhetoric about Jewish people appeared to reach a new low this week when she liked a social media post asking conservative Rabbi Shmuley, it's a little bit of a silly name, I'm sorry, Shmuley Bodei teach whether he is drunk on Christian blood again. And if you're wondering if that's true, yes, here it is. After beefing with a conservative rabbi, somebody posted this comment. Candace liked it herself, and it says February 20th, Rabbi, are you drunk on Christian blood again? oh shit. I actually didn't see this, but this one's bad. This one's bad. Like the Jewish adrenochrome, control the world, drinking blood. This one's starting to get a little crazy, if I'm going to be honest with you. And I was surprised that it was really getting this bad. I knew that her connection with Kanye West was really bad and probably said some bad things about her views on Jewish people. But let's just be honest with ourselves. There's no reason why anybody should be surprised that anybody on the right is just anti-Semitic. Okay, like, I know a lot of people don't like to hear it. I know a lot of people don't like to say it, but yeah, like it shouldn't be surprising that they're not just anti-Semitic. Okay, and after all of this went down, there are a lot of people who are just straight up Nazis, anti-Semites, like Reupers, all these types of people who came out of the woodwork to support her. I mean, some of them are even straight up making fucking fan cams about this lady. And I'm not even joking to you. Let me pull this up for you.
Okay, well, can you answer why Jews are so special?
I think that her full sophistication on these particular issues.
I'm not going to respond with the same ad hominem attack.
Deranged, crazy anti-Semite Candace Owens.
When that Kanye situation went down, I was being threatened by a person named Rabbi Shmuley, a person that Michael Jackson put on his enemy list, a person that I had never heard of, was threatening me and saying that unless I came out and said things explicitly against Kanye, he would effectively ruin my life.
Well, I hope you heard the overriding part, which is that I don't want to make it personal with her. I don't really consider us friends anymore.
I am team God, okay? I'm team God. I do not fear the media. I do not fear journalists. I do not fear AIPAC. I don't fear Big Pharma. What I actually fear is God.
So yeah, yeah. So they're making Nazi fan cams of her. Michael Jackson. I don't know where they even came up. I don't even know how they even came up. The boxing promo ass edit. It's the Ohio Nazi Zoomer Twitter edit. We all know it. We've all seen it. That guy makes a lot of Nazi edits. That's just who he is. That's just the guy. He's a groiper. So that's not really surprising, honestly, with all of that. But this shouldn't be surprising because these people were already primed to hate Jewish people. And some people may hear that and they may be like, what are you talking about? What I mean by that is the rhetoric that conservatives have been using for decades for like these groups of people, the cabal, them, globalists. All this type of language was specifically crafted even before that, long ago, by Nazis. I mean, so like cultural Marxism is a very clear reference to cultural Bolshevism from the Nazis about how like leftists and Jews were manipulating society to confuse people and do all this, that, and the third. How they say that globalists are pushing like the trans or like gay agenda, and how it connects all back to Jewish people to them. Even Charlie Kirk has been slowly just closing in on just straight up Nazi talking points, where he said that we need to watch out for Jewish organizations or Israeli organizations that are pushing cultural Marxism to destroy the family unit in society. These are straight up Nazi talking points that the Nazis have been using ever since they lost the one and only war that they fought. This should not be surprising that people think this way when they've been priming them and themselves to think like this for decades. It's not a very far jump to say that the globalists are these people, and to them Jewish people, who do this, that, and the third, who are backing all of these evil things happening in society, since Jewish people are more likely to be left-wing. So to them, all the pieces just fall into place with already hating them. They built the conspiracy infrastructure. All you need to do is just place somebody at the top who controls the levers, because it's already ingrained in them that somebody's doing it. There is a guy, there is a group, there is a cabal, there is them, there is a globalist unit working against us who has all the money and all the power, who closes down speech and everything. And now all they needed was a spark. There's Tinder laying everywhere, and all they needed was a little spark, and boom, that's what got them to move in this direction. It wasn't very hard. We've been picking up on this and talking about this for years, for as long as this channel's been around. This is something that they didn't really talk about or think about or do anything about, because either they believed it, they got money off of people who believe it, or they lost their opportunities because they didn't believe it. All of the conservatives that you hear about that are super popular believe something along these believe something along these lines. They believe something along these lines, and they have done it for a long time. This is a post that proves exactly what I'm talking about. Take a look at this. This has 2,000 likes, 33,000 views. This is something that I just found after typing in Candace Owens' name. I love how no one is asking why Candace Owens was fired from the Daily Wire. We all just knows why. And then it's who's destroying America. And then Alex Jones screams globalists. Yeah, that's who it is. That's who it is. Globalists. And it's very clear that the entire time globalists could easily just replace for Jews, and they'd just be sitting there at a very common neo-Nazi talking point. That's just what it is. That's just who these people are. So this shouldn't be surprising anybody that Candace Owens has fallen like this, and this is how it's worked out. I think she's always believed something like this. She's always been somebody who could believe something like this. She started off. I'm like, as far as people, sorry, a lot of people forget, Candace Owens started her like big media career, or started her like online persona back in 2016 during Gamergate, where she was pro women, where what she did is she wanted to be against internet bullies. And so the way that she thought she could fight people who were harassing people on the internet was doxing them. So her plan was, when somebody was like doing bullying or harassment or doxing, or doing bullying, harassment, or being angry, or like engaging in Gamergate online, what she would do is use all of the resources that she would have to dox them and post their face, their name, and their address on the website that she had. That's just what they did. That's just what they did. And it's not even like Candace Owens herself was somebody who didn't like cancel culture. I mean, this is the type of person who would make videos about types of people who needed to be fired, attacking black women about how they needed to be fired. All right. Racist teacher has been fired. We're talking about race in America. She started off grifting, then drank her own Kool-Aid. I don't think that she's a grifter, personally. I think she believes all the stuff that she's saying. I think she believes all the stuff that she's saying. I don't think she's a grifter. I think she definitely she definitely wants to make a bunch of money, and she's definitely done that. But I don't think she's ever lied about anything. I don't think she's ever lied about what she personally believes. I think she's lied, but about her own opinions about things, no, I think she's telling the truth, and I think that's why I think she's dangerous and stupid at the same time. Jordan Peterson was fired. Jordan Peterson lost his medical license for being a psychiatrist. He can no longer be, or a psychologist. He can no longer practice therapy in Toronto. But outside of that, I think that's just basically it. After all of this went down, Candace posted a little video about how she's so happy that she's free.
Rumors are true. I am free. Welcome to my locals page. So much to talk about. Obviously, I'm going to take a couple of weeks here just to rebuild and to refocus and to create something that is actually mine, and something that can't be threatened or taken because it belongs to me. I can't tell you enough how much your support has meant to me over the years. We're just getting started. Join the locals page. Obviously, here you can support me and my work as an independent journalist, as an independent podcaster.
Journalist, dude. Everybody just wants to use the word journalist to justify themselves now. What they mean by journalism is they read the Blaze. They read the Blaze. But yeah, I was kind of thinking about what is she going to do next? What the fuck is a locals page? I'm gonna be completely honest with you. Like a locals page sounds like a Craigslist personals page. I don't think that's what it is, but that it absolutely sounds like that's what it is. But I have absolutely no clue what it is, and I have no care for finding out what it is either at this moment in time. Maybe sometime we will, but right now I just don't have much care for it. That being said, don't touch it, don't look at it, don't imagine it, don't perceive it. Locals is an alternative for Facebook for conservatives. Isn't Facebook just Facebook for conservatives already? Oh, it seems surprising to me, but whatever, I guess. Sure. Okay, buddy. Okay. Maybe it's like Parler. Maybe it's like Parler. But yeah, I was kind of wondering where she was going to go now. What was the plan for her now? Because, I mean, she's out of the Daily Wire. There aren't that many big conservative weirdo YouTube businesses out there that you can join outside of the Daily Wire. What's next outside of the Daily Wire, right? The Blaze, you don't want to go there. She just gets sexually assaulted. So there has to be like another place that she wants to go or do. And I think probably the answer that she wants to take is become independent. She wants to be an independent content creator now. So probably like make her own YouTube channel, make her own videos, all this type of stuff, move like her podcast or whatever over. That's probably what she's planning on doing. That's probably what she wants to do. So we're just going to have to see. The reaction to all of this was pretty funny in my opinion. Like the reactions went from people clowning on her, guess that didn't age well, untouchable, uncancelable since 1989. Seems like the canceling has happened. Lady, it seems like it is all over for you. Unfortunate. The Babylon Bee took a swipe at her as well. Daily Wire quietly cancels their upcoming Little Mermaid remake starring Candace Owens. Negroes, am I right? Oh man, that would have gone crazy, dude. To some showing penance and sadness over the execution, the online internet execution of Christians all over the internet. Tucker Carlson was Fox News. Candace Owens was the Daily Wire. That shit ain't true. Listen, you can hype up this lady all you want in her weirdo conservative content creation sphere, but she was the Daily Wire. Come on, let's just be honest with ourselves. Ben Shapiro's the Daily Wire. And also something that I want to touch on really quick, because a lot of people would say that it was Ben that fired her. Actually, Ben isn't an executive at the Daily Wire anymore, so he couldn't fire her. I mean, he probably has a lot of sway, and they probably talked to Ben a decent amount, but Ben actually isn't her boss anymore. He stepped down from an executive role. I forget what year, but a while ago. So he's not her boss. If anybody would have ended everything, it would have been, if there was one guy dependent on it, it was probably Boring. It was probably Jeremy Boring who did it. But if this helps lead to the slow bleeding out of the Daily Wire, Godspeed. Sounds incredible to me, if I'm going to be honest with you. Sounds absolutely great. Sick. If like the problem that they had when it came to Steven Crowder and that like cutting a lot of the people who like them, and now them cutting Candace Owens, who, mind you, no matter what you think about Candace, she was getting a decent amount of views. I mean, she would post daily. And on the daily, she would be pulling in from 300,000 to on the daily, she would usually be pulling in around 300, 200,000 to almost 1 million views. I mean, over the last month, she has one video 10 days ago that almost has 1 million views right now. 2 weeks ago, she has one that does have 1 million views. She's a pretty popular content creator right now. 2 weeks ago, another 1.8 million views. She is very, very popular. She was a big voice for the Daily Wire, but she's gone now. Now what? What's her plan? Where does she go? Maybe she starts a YouTube show. I didn't mean for that to rhyme. I'm sorry. But continue on with this. Alex Jones was political YouTube. Okay, buddy. All for Christians, for families, all for said things they aren't allowed to say. All four were fired, deplatformed, or worse. Holy. Oh, the persecution just keeps coming along, man. It's so over. Soon, all Christians will be forced into Austin Birkenau, and it'll all be over, man. It's all over, man. So yeah, So yeah, that's where we are right now. I was wondering what was going on because a little while, like a couple days before this announcement came, I was really curious about something. And what I was really curious about specifically was why I was starting to see Candace Owens on my timeline. Candace just started popping up on my timeline randomly recently, and her specifically talking to other Black creators, whether that be the Breakfast Club. She was on the Breakfast Club not too long ago, or another Black creator like this guy, specifically Pan-Africanism or Parish, right, where she was giving talking points about why actually she doesn't hate Black people, and Black people just have like a really cool sense of humor. When we sing, we do it the best. We're the best athletes, we're the best artists, we're all these types of things. But she never mentioned us being the best scientists or creators or engineers or anything. It was just, damn, them Negroes really can sing. They really can sing, and they're so surprised by her. Never actually listened to a thing that she actually said. A lot of people who try and tell you that who tell you when you don't like Candace Owens, that you just haven't actually listened to what she said. There's two types of people who dislike Candace Owens. People who were told to dislike Candace Owens because that's what the people who around them didn't like it, and the people who listen to her who actually don't like her. I've watched hours of Candace Owens, maybe even tens of hours of Candace Owens, and I don't like her for the things that she has said. I've watched her debates, I've watched her conversations, I've watched her program. I don't like her. I think she sucks ass, okay, in many ways, and is quite and holds some pretty racist views as well. Actually, recently, what I found out was that she was, and I told my GF about this because she really hated this one, but she was doing research into why migrant Black people come to the US and perform better than ADOS, American descendants of slaves, here in the United States. And she found out that, and she came to the conclusion that migrants are simply just better. They're just better than Black Americans who were born here. And then she distanced herself from Black Americans by saying that she has a St. Thomas lineage, and that's why she's so proud. Actually, she's not an American descendant of slaves like me personally. She's more like, unfortunately, she's more like the GF, and the GF was very upset that she shares a lineage with this clown. But people were like hyping her up like she's like all Blacks the same or something, when no, actually they're not. And there are very racist groups. There are very racist groups of Black people out there who are not ADOS, American descendants of slaves. And Candace is one of them. The reason why we call her Candace, very big reason. All of these people pumping up Candace Owens right now because she's popular, because they can get views for it, and like putting it in the minds of these types of people that she's somebody who's in your corner or fighting for you is just completely ridiculous and is contrary to almost all of the things that she said. She can claim to be whatever she wants. At the end of the day, she has spent her entire career putting down Black people, denying the existence of systemic racism, denying the existence of racism in today existing at all, denying the existence of discrimination, marginalization, the history and effects of slavery and Jim Crow and redlining and all of these types of things. She spent her entire history of being a content creator doing this to only say, wow, Black people really can sing and dance is all it takes to turn you around. That is disgraceful. That is disgraceful. That's all that takes to have somebody who said such terrible things, who believes such terrible things, who has said these things that are so disagreeable and simply wrong, that it takes that's all that takes for you to get down on your fours and be like, wow, Candace Queen, Candace Slay. Cringe. Absolutely cringe. Completely, absolutely cringe. Okay, it's the same old tired playbook that we've seen from rich Black people all the time, just telling you that all you need to do is pick up your bootstraps, when she literally made a career about denying the existence of the discrimination that held back other Black people, that allowed her to have a contingency and an audience full of white people who pay her to tell them about how Black people just cry too much. And all the other Black people who have real important jobs in society, who help hold up society like we have been since the moment we set foot on this country, on this continent, that they're just the complainers. It's just sad, it's sick, it's lame, it's cringe, and maybe she's just going to take a really big right turn and just become incredibly, wildly shitty and just like and everything terrible. Who knows? Who knows what she'll be? Who knows where she'll go? I don't know. What I do know is that she shouldn't be allowed to just sneak into like places in the black community. But unfortunately, there are many places in the black community that are in black communities that are very racist, anti-Semitic, horrible, absolutely terrible. And that's a whole conversation for another day, that like look up to people like Candace Owens. It's a whole conversation for another day. We don't have the time for that. But what I do know is that she's out, she's gone, and it doesn't seem like she's coming back anytime soon. We'll see what she turns this into in the next 3 weeks or whatever. She said she wants to take time off to figure herself out or find a new avenue to make cash money. Whatever it is, I know it's going to be bad, and I know we're going to be there to comment on it and look at it and watch it the entire time. So yeah. Come here. Oh. Hi.
Oh, sorry. I didn't see you there. If you're enjoying the content, hit the subscribe button. If you don't, it'll make Boo very sad. I know a bunch of you who are watching are not subscribed. Join the frenzy. You won't regret it. Thank you, Boo.